He's not in his office yet. We're late.
Don, I think we're still on camera here, so we can go. Thought I had more than 4-minute difference, and I'm the one that said it, so figure that one out. So we'll call the November 15th, 2021 meeting of the Mayor and City Council of Lincoln Park to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, which will be immediately followed by the invocation by Reverend Russell Bone of Lincoln Park Church of Christ. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay.
Don't see the Reverend.
Reverend Bone, are you with us? Okay.
He's my neighbor. I can do something.
Then at this point, we will do a moment of silence. One for all the veterans that have served our country that are no longer with us. Secondly, ask for prayers for the family of John Snethkamp. John passed away after a short illness. He's the husband of retired computer systems manager Colleen Snethkamp. And any other people that have lost loved ones in Lincoln Park over the past 2 weeks. Thank you. And if Reverend Bone does come on a little bit later on, we'll let him go ahead with the invocation. Sometimes it's not easy to plug into these Zoom meetings. So if we could have roll call, please.
Certainly. Councilpersons Dupre.
Here.
Higgins.
Here.
Kelsey.
Here.
Ross.
Here.
Salcido.
Here.
Tobin.
Here.
And Mayor Carnes.
Here. Okay, so I guess it goes to my remarks. Mentioned John Snethkamp. Colleen is one of those work behind the scenes type people, and her and her husband have been active in our community for many years. And it's very sad with their passing. I believe the funeral services or the visitation is on Thursday. You can check Molnar Funeral Home for details on that. This past Thursday, Veterans Day, there was a nice ceremony over at the Historical Museum. Jeff Day, the curator, put together a very nice tribute. Our Congresswoman Dingell was there, as was our State Representative Cara Clementi, and of interest, we had a young man by the name of Ed Gavel, who was a United States veteran, World War II veteran, who was 100 years old, that was with us that day. So that was great to see. And we have Thanksgiving coming up, and that is just this, or in a couple weeks. We won't have another meeting before that time. And just in closing for Mayor's remarks, is that we're thankful for all of our citizens out there that do everything they should every day. They put their trash out on time. They park the vehicles where they should, and they do everything. They pay their taxes, and we're so appreciative of all that. But in order to make a city work, we need more than just the residents, and it's our employees. And as the past 18 months, 2 years have shown what a difficult time this has been, it just points out how thankful we are to have the employees that we have in our town. And with that, I will open it up to our consent agenda. Resolved that the following items listed on the consent agenda be approved as presented to the mayor and city council. 1, approved minutes, regular meeting held November 1, 2021. 2, approved minutes, special closed session / collective bargaining / November 1, 2021. 3, approve interagency agreement crime awareness. 4, approve interagency agreement PD code enforcement. 5, approve subrecipient agreement guidance center. 6, execute contract fiscal year 2022 SMART. And 7, codified ordinances updates.
So move.
Support.
Okay. Discussion? Or there is none discussion. So clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Kurtz.
Yes.
Mr. Presentation. Presentation on the agenda. Was there a presentation?
Oh, yes.
And then my salary is, sorry.
All right, you have to forgive me a little bit. I had my COVID booster shot this afternoon. It was giving me a dry mouth, and I seem to be missing some things. I missed a presentation when I jumped to the consent agenda. So we will move on to the presentation, Home Serve USA regarding insurance for water and sewer service lines.
All right, I believe that's me. Thank you very much. My name's Mike. I appreciate it, Mayor. I actually had my
okay.
COVID booster last week.
Okay, the Mike Chambers, right?
Yeah, that's me. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right, go ahead. Sorry, I apologize.
Thank you very much. My Chambers. I'm with Home Serve. We're the administrators of the National League of Cities Service Line Program. I've been speaking with your city manager about this program, and I wanted to come on tonight, give you guys a little bit of an overview of the program, how it can help your residents, and then answer any questions for you. Just to give you a little bit of a program, you understand infrastructure is getting older and older, especially when it comes to water and sewer lines. And one of the big issues is while cities and municipalities are doing their part to maintain the main water and sewer lines that are in the street, you have these miles and miles of lines that connect to that system that a lot of times doesn't get attention, and that's the residents' lateral water and sewer lines. And a lot of times when the resident has a frozen water line that breaks or their sewer line gets plugged with tree roots, their first calls to the city. City will send someone out, make sure the lines in the street are working properly. 99% of the time, those lines are fine because you're doing the maintenance and the upkeep on them. And it puts you in news, Mr. and Mrs. Resident, you found your water lines broken, your sewer lines collapsed, you're going to have a contractor out here and have it repaired. And most residents don't even realize they're responsible for these buried underground lines until you're responsible. They don't have the $4,000 or $5,000 it can cost to dig the lines up and replace them. So that's where our program comes in. First off, it's simply an educational program. We'll do a free public awareness campaign to all the residents, let them know these water and sewer lines are their responsibility. Give them some tips on how to keep them working properly. Don't put grease down your drains, that sort of thing. And then secondly is to give them a chance to transfer that risk from themselves over to the NLC program through a low-cost monthly warranty. Now, the nice part for the city, it's a fully turnkey program. We handle all the marketing, all the billing, all the customer service, all the claims. There's no cost or anything for the city to participate. And then we share a portion of all the revenue that's generated from the warranty sales back with the community. Now, the nice part for your resident is that if the city does decide to participate in this program, it's completely optional for them. It's nothing the resident has to take. But we have 3 line coverage that'll cover from the point where their water line enters the home all the way to where it connects to the curb stop with the shutoff. and that'll cover everything from frozen lines, leaking lines, slow running lines, basically any kind of disruption in their water service. This is all covered with zero deductible for the resident. There's no service fees. We also don't do any pre-inspections, and there's no annual lifetime. The second product we offer is the external Squirrel coverage, and that'll start from the point burner all the way to where it connects to if that has to be disturbed to fix it as well. Once again, this has zero deductions and no annual lifetime limits. And then the final product's the in-home plumbing and drainage coverage. That'll cover all the lines, sinks, toilets, everything inside the home as well. Now, when the resident has an issue, all they do is make one call to us. We have a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week US-based call center, and then we dispatch a local licensed plumber to make the repair. That's another huge benefit of our program as well, as we're only going to use contractors from there in Lincoln Park to make the repairs. That not only keeps the dollars there locally in the community, but more importantly, the contractors there, they know what the codes are, so they're going to make sure that everything's fixed to code, all the permits are pulled, and everything's done the way the city wants it to be completed. Now, as for the way we make it available to all the residents, we never engage in any telemarketing or door-to-door sales or anything like that. Everything is done through that educational direct mail letter. Typically twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, we'll mail that letter out to all the residents, let them know the program's available. Before we ever mail it to the residents, though, we provide it to the city. We have an opportunity to review it, make sure they're happy with language that's in it, and only once it's approved by the city will we mail it out for your residents, because it will say the National League of Cities and the City of Lincoln Park want to make you aware of this optional program. Now, to date, we have 1,000 communities across the country participating in the program. In Michigan, there's about 30. The program is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. It's got a 98% customer satisfaction rating. In the past 3 years alone, we paid over $560 million to repair these lines across the country. And just some statistics for you. So Royal Oak's one of our partners. We're almost at $2 million there that we've saved their residents. St. Clair Shores is another one. We're over $1 million in savings for residents there. Roseville's almost to $1 million. I think they're at 800,000. So a lot of communities there in the area that have been participating in the program for a while. So that's kind of the main highlight of the program.
Mr. Chambers, I would.
Answer any questions?
It's a lot of information in a short period of time. I think that we need to flesh this out a little bit for our citizens and stuff. So I would think that we just had a study session just a little while ago where we're talking about a DPS evaluation. If we're going to present this and offer this and back it to our residents, I think we need to have a little bit of a bigger look at it. So suggesting like a half-hour presentation at a study session that we can arrange in the future, would that work for you? And then so people can actually get a little bit more information, and if we end up going with it, then it may be a good sale for you at that point, a promotional piece for you as well. But open it up for questions for right now.
Yeah.
For the chair?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mike, some of your presentation got a little blurred, at least on my computer.
Mine
and
also.
I wonder if perhaps you had something on paper that you could also present us. So some of us study better on paper than than listening and seeing a document. And if you had something to pass us out, that would be great.
Sure thing, yeah. I'll email a copy of a PowerPoint presentation that will have all this information that I talked to James, and then if he can forward it on to everyone, then everyone will have it. And my contact information will be included as well, so as you're reviewing it, if you have questions and things that come up, you can just call me or shoot me an email.
Fabulous, thank you.
Well, Mike, our next meeting is December 6th, I believe. So and you can come at the same time and have your presentation ready. We'll make it part of Mayor's comments for that night, and you do a screen share for us and have all that information on there.
Sure thing, I can do that
So
for
you
sure.
can come back on December 6th?
Yes, I'll actually be in Michigan. I'm doing a presentation for another community up there, but it's at, I think it's at 7 o'clock, so I can join after that. I don't know what time your meeting is, but I can join after that if that works.
Okay, yeah, very good. I think that we need to flesh this out just a little bit. It sounds like a nice program, but I just want to make sure. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Chambers? Because we'll be having them back next week. If that you said that's good for you, Mr. Chambers? The 6th?
Yeah, that'll work for me.
Okay. I appreciate that, and I'm sorry for
So, yeah.
sorry for missing that.
Sorry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, our connection is not good right
I'm
now.
sorry about any internet.
Yeah. No, we've been having our share. All right, then we will move on to the action items. First item has a cover letter from Chief of Police Raymond Waters. Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting the council waive the bid process and grant the police department permission to purchase a new server from Safe Fleet Coben Technologies, formerly L3 Global Vision. Safe Fleet Coben Technologies is the sole maker of the flashback HD car camera system that the police department uses. Whereas the Lincoln Park Police Department is requesting to purchase a new Safe Fleet Coben Technologies server. Be it resolved that Mayor and Council authorize the Police Department to waive the bidding process and purchase a server for a total cost of $16,288.62 from Safe Fleet Coben Technologies, a sole supplier. Be it further resolved, funds for the purchase of the server to come from the Police Department's technology account, number 101-305-940.
So moved. Support.
Okay, discussion? Okay, hearing none, then clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Ross,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Alcedo,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes. Next item has a cover letter from Doreen Christian, Director of Community Planning, Development, Parks and Recreation. On October 18, 2021, the Mayor and Council authorized the solicitation of bids for 3 properties to be demolished. The bids were open on November 3rd. Results are attached. The bid tally sheet is Vincon Incorporated, House and Garage at 1035 White, $18,120. House only on Rio, $7,260. House only on Ford, $17,120. Tell you what, I'll just go with total bid. Total bid, $42,500. McMillan Group Incorporated, total bid, $53,330. Thomas Trucking Services Incorporated, $54,000. Universal Consolidated Enterprise Incorporated, $57,869. Blue Star Incorporated, total bid $63,400. So the resolution. Whereas it has been determined by the Dangerous Building Board that property is located at 1035 White, 1533 Rio, and 1755 Ford Boulevard are unsafe structures and need to be demolished. And whereas the Mayor and Council passed resolutions in July to authorize the demolitions, therefore be it resolved that Vincon Incorporated be awarded the bid for the demolition of the structures located at 1035 White, 1533 Rio, and 1755 Ford Boulevard at a cost not to exceed $42,500, as they are the lowest bidder that meets all specifications. Funds to come from CDBG account number 249-044-962D and 249-045-962D Building Department demolition. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute all necessary documents.
So moved.
Support.
Or,
Discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Is there any time frame of when, once it's been accepted, of when they'll be able to start these, or are these going to have to wait till spring?
Doreen, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm on call.
Okay.
They're just hit it and get it right now. I'm just waiting on electrical to be cut by DTE, and I have one gas line that still has to be cut because we had to get squatters removed from the building. So as soon as the electric is done, we're ready to roll. Everything else has been taken care of. And I've been working with John Myers and Barbara Rydblocker to get this taken care of. Hopefully it will be done soon.
Okay,
But we can do it even in the winter.
so even in the winter, you can still get it done. So,
Yes, sir.
okay, very good. Anything else, Councilwoman?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. Further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. Next item that we have is a cover letter from our city manager, Mr. Grzan. On April 20, 2021, the city awarded Evertiding Cleaning Services LLC a contract for janitorial services at City Hall, the Public Library, and Kennedy Memorial Building. Over the past few months, issues have been raised regarding cleaning at the Kennedy Memorial Building that have gone unresolved. The contract allows for either party to terminate the contract with a 30-day notice. A resolution has been proposed by Councilman Higgins and Councilwoman Tobin to terminate the contract with Evertiding Cleaning Services and to solicit bids for janitorial services. It is recommended, because of the different nature of the buildings, that two requests for proposals be issued separating the Kennedy Memorial Building and City Hall and the library. So, the resolution, which has already been moved by Councilman Higgins and supported by Councilwoman Tobin, whereas the current contract for Evertiding Cleaning Services for janitorial services is set to expire on June 1, 2023. Whereas Evertiding Services have failed to deliver certain services in the time and manner provided in their contract. Whereas discussions with the contractor have failed to remedy these deficiencies. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council hereby serve notice of contract termination effective December 20, 2021. It further resolved that the city manager is hereby instructed to solicit bids for a new contractor immediately. So we'll open it up for discussion.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Yes, in regards to deficiencies, was there any trouble with this cleaning company at City Hall or the library?
We've had
I don't know
small,
who can answer that.
yeah, we've had some small issues. Most of them generally would get resolved after a quick conversation.
Okay, so in regards to the band show, there'll be a different work order in place to address whatever Tidy failed to do in the next contract?
Right.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am, just a second. Council President, my observations of the cleaning crew here, they've always been professional and polite and seem to be doing what they're doing. I've come in at odd hours and have always caught them doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. I understand the issues that took place at the DPS, not the DPS, at the band show though. Councilwoman, go ahead.
That's what I kind of want to talk about is Kennedy Memorial Building, because we have activities there. We have dance classes. I know that we have special things coming up, like Breakfast with Santa. Can Doreen have that, like, cleaned. I don't know. I mean, I know we're paying Evertidy still till the 20th, but that floor is horrible. And it really needs to be addressed before breakfast with Santa, before any more time goes by. Let me just say that.
Well, it's premature before the motion is voted on, though.
Okay.
So, is there discussion on the motion?
Your Honor, through the chair,
Yes, go ahead.
this is my daily life, if you will. This is what I did for 30 years, cleaning and taking care of our buildings. And I just want to say that the Kennedy Memorial Building is a different animal than City Hall or the library, and different things need to be done and taken care of. And it is my opinion that it was not taken care of the way it should have been, and that's why I brought this forward. But that needs to be addressed when we go out for our what we're asking for too, because that building is much more like a school building as it's being used constantly for different purposes with a different type of flooring. It is not an office, which is what I think this company is more suited for, and what they've done a good job here, just not there. And that's all I've got to say about that. Thank you.
Well, if we decide to go someplace else, then we need to be specific in what we are looking for and what their duties are. And it may be that we have to pay more in order to get what's done. But the work that was being done at the band show was not acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. So further discussion? Then we'll go to clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So with that, James, that puts a priority on getting the items out to bid as soon as possible, so
Yep,
that
our intention is to have it out this Wednesday, and have it out for a period of about 4 weeks, doing walkthroughs with potential bidders in approximately 2 weeks.
okay. So we will need a temporary solution also that goes along with that.
Your Honor, to the chair.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It's my understanding that we do a yearly stripping and waxing over there, and it should be coming up in a very near future. Will that be taken care of as well? Just want to make sure that that's on the agenda.
I'll make a note.
Okay. Then the next item that we have as a cover letter from our city clerk, Carrie Kerr. According to Act 51, the county is responsible for maintenance and repair of certain county state roads. The Act also requires us to share the construction costs on this type of repair project. This resolution is the standard wording for this type of intergovernmental cost sharing with Wayne County. There is a working capital advance due before the project starts and final payment when completed. So, whereas the City of Lincoln Park believes quality roads are a vital part of any community, and whereas certain improvements are necessary to Outer Drive west from I-75 to Fort Street, which is M85, to increase traffic safety and to encourage economic development. And whereas the County of Wayne has committed to the improvement of the road in an area generally described as hot mix, asphalt cold milling, and resurfacing from Outer Drive west from I-75 to Fort Street, M85, as outlined in the project description, and the City of Lincoln Park will assist financially in the improvement of the road. And whereas the City of Lincoln Park will provide payment to the County of Wayne in the estimated amount of $42,112, in parentheses, which will be adjusted to reflect actual costs, end parentheses, as the City of Lincoln Park's participation in the total project costs. Now therefore be it resolved that the Lincoln Park City Council does hereby approve the proposed agreement between and among the City of Melvindale, the City of Lincoln Park, and the County of Wayne for the improvement of Outer Drive west from I-75 to 4th Street M85 as outlined in the project description. And be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk are authorized to execute the agreement on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park.
So moved.
Okay, discussion? Clerk, call the roll. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. Maybe Mr. Kazoo could answer. Because as I was reading through the contract that was given to us, I was wondering if anybody looked at any drawings, because it says here that we would be responsible for any removal and relocation of any municipal utilities. And I just wondered if we anticipate any of that.
We do not have, John Kazoo, we do not have any anticipated utility removals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, further discussion?
Through the chair, this is west from Outer Drive to West Outer Drive to 4th Street. That's not located in the city of Melvindale. So are they extending this past Melvindale into Melvindale, or is it going to stop at 75? Because it's not real clear. You know, it doesn't state it states what Melvindale is going to pay, but it doesn't state how far into Melvindale they're going to take this project.
John, do you want to answer that? Because I can answer that for you. At the back of that contract is a page that has a little drawing on it. So this repair extends on the westbound side of Outer Drive from 4th Street to the other side of the right-of-way on I-75. The right-of-way from the westerly boundary of the right-of-way on I-75 to the easterly boundary is in Melvindale. The Detroit area doesn't start until east of I-75. So that portion is the portion that Melvindale is responsible for, which is why there seems to be a very big difference between our cost sharing and Melvindale's cost sharing.
Okay, that explains it, because I was, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why it was.
Yeah, there is a drawing there, and I think it's on like the 3rd or the 4th from the back page there.
It's page 16.
Yeah.
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 Okay, thank you.
Okay.
For clarifying.
Okay, then further discussion? Hearing none, clerk call the roll.
Councilpersons Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Alcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So, next item is resolved that a study session be scheduled for December 6, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. regarding commercial facilities tax exemption districts. Be it further resolved that in accordance with Public Act 254 of 2020 and Wayne County's emergency order, the City of Lincoln Park will conduct this meeting remotely using Zoom. This action is intended to facilitate necessary city business without unduly compromising public health, safety, and welfare. Attendees may participate in the meeting using Zoom, either online or phone.
Support.
Okay, then, discussion? James, who is,
Question to the chair, Your Honor.
just a
Earlier
second.
tonight-
Oh, James, who's putting this forward?
This is actually coming from the assessing department.
Okay, a cover letter would help in these circumstances. Go ahead, Councilman.
Just clarification, earlier this evening, we had another study session, and we talked about meeting on the 6th or more on that study session. So now we would have two meetings scheduled for both, or am I misunderstanding?
No, it's the, we were talking about the water line issue. That's going to be done under mayor's remarks. The figure about 15 minutes or so.
Okay.
All right, further discussion?
For the chair, if I may.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Could somebody explain what this is about? I mean, I got a line item, that's all I got. Can somebody give a little bit more information before we get to the meeting and have to read the packet at that time on a Friday? Is there anybody who can do that through the chair?
I could give a quick, so the commercial facilities tax exemption, this is a tool that the city can use to try and attract new commercial facilities. It's essentially a tax break. In order to do it, there's a couple steps we'd have to go through to create a district, to actually do public hearings and stuff. And we wanted to kind of present this to mayor and council before we really started moving forward with anything else.
Thank you. To the chair, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right, anything further? Then clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Dupre,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next action item has a cover letter from John Kazoo, DPS Director. And in background, the City of Lincoln Park and Limwalkers Tree and Snow wish to enter into a property lease agreement to lease a portion of the DPS rear lot for storage of tree service equipment and product. And it is be resolved that the mayor and city council hereby approves the property lease agreement by and between the City of Lincoln Park and Limwalkers Tree and Snow Removal for a period of 1 year pursuant to the terms of said agreement, with an option to renew for the same terms for an additional year upon mutual consent by both parties. This agreement is for a portion of the Lincoln Park DPS rear lot at 500 Southfield Road. Be it further resolved that the mayor and city clerk authorized to sign the property lease agreement on behalf of the City of Lincoln Park.
So moved.
Support.
In discussion, has the city manager reviewed the contract? Not city manager, the city attorney reviewed the contract and approved it?
I've asked him for a copy of it, Mayor. You want to review it pending approval? Or you want to approve it pending review?
Well, I just want to make sure that it meets with your approval. I mean, before it gets signed.
No, I just got a text back from the emergency, or from the city manager, I'm sorry, Mayor. I would like to look it over one more time before council signs it. So if you pass the resolution approving the agreement subject to the final review of the city attorney. If you add that language, I will be satisfied with that, and the city manager will be.
Okay, and in the future, I would ask that any contract that we're going to be asked to review should be approved pertaining to city business by the city attorney. So, further discussion?
For the chair, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Who is first? Go ahead.
We've had questions come up recently about who has keys to the gate and coming and going, and I'd like to know how many more keys we're giving out for this particular thing, and will this be a register who has them, and give me an update on that.
John, can you? I know that the previous city contractor did have use of some space at 500.
Mayor, may I
No, go ahead.
interject? I haven't spoken with Mrs. Higgins, and on occasion she reviews it in lieu of my review, but we've both been in town for a few weeks here. Is it necessary that it pass this week? We could address those issues and correct it with a resolution. If it's necessary to pass, It would be subject to the final approval of the document by the city attorney to then be executed by the mayor and city clerk.
I'm
But the-
comfortable with it moving forward tonight.
All right.
What the questions that are being asked are legitimate ones. How many people are going to have keys to the DPS yard? Who's going to have, how many employees are going to be using them? Who's going to keep track of it, and that sort of thing.
Mayor, Council, if I could, John Kazoo.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
When this agreement, if this agreement is executed, I do not see Lim Walker receiving any more gate keys.
Any additional, so that they are already equipped with some?
Yes, sir.
Through the chair, Your Honor.
Hold on, sir. And how many gate keys does Lim Walkers have, the company?
I don't have my list in front of me. Maybe the city manager does.
Actually looking for it at the moment.
Okay.
Mayor, the easiest way to resolve that is to have an appendage or a codicil to the agreement or an addendum indicating how many key fobs or keys are being released, that they're in their possession, that they'll return them upon the conclusion of the contract, and we can add that language, and I'm certain they'll execute it.
Okay. Councilman Higgins, were you all set with your question, or did you have more?
I would like the name of the employees who have the keys, so City Hall has them as well.
You might have a problem there with the corporation, Your Honor, because you entitle the corporation to have the keys, and it could vary from individual to individual. So that's something the city manager is going to have to work out on behalf of the city.
Okay. Who is next? I heard Councilman Kelsey. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had I think if you brought up a couple issues, I think that are appropriate about, I was going to bring up the fact that all the city contracts, and I think you did, and I don't know if we need to have a resolution to make sure that's ingrained, or we have to have something on these contracts that say, and reviewed by the city attorney before they are implemented.
Well, that is the common practice. This one slipped by, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ed. I didn't know you went through the chair, but thank you. Anyways, through the chair, I'd like to, two issues, is that we've had a problem that I think John Kazoo is on here with the last trim company, where they had a hard time moving their stuff out of the yard, even though they were required to do it. So I just want to make sure that we don't make the same mistake in this contract. And I understand it's 30 days to get rid of it, but I think we have to have something in there that when they're required to move it, they move it, because otherwise, the last company had some managerial problems and the stuff stayed in the yard for a long time, and it was causing some other issues and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if this is appropriate to bring up, Your Honor, so I'll leave it up to the chair. But I got a question about the access to the yard also. So would I leave that to the managers, ask him the question underneath his report?
Access to the yard by the limb walkers, or access in general?
Access in general to me. I tried to get into the yard 2 times this week. Once when John called me for a meeting, and once when I tried to get in today, and both times, and the city manager's aware, I sent out an email.
Well,
there's nobody. I'm sorry.
Well, that would be during his remarks.
Okay.
We need to get the
All right.
resolution. Okay.
Okay, all right, I'm fine, thank you, I made my point, thank you, and I'll bring up the rest of him underneath his, thank you.
Okay. Further discussion on the property lease agreement for limb walkers.
Yes, to the chair, Your Honor, real briefly, I'll make it quick.
You're fine. Go
I
ahead.
don't see we're in agreement. How much space do they need? How much equipment is going to be stored there? I didn't see that in the agreement. They're going to cover 400 square feet, 2 football fields. How much space are they going to need? Are they going to, you know what I mean? I don't see that in the contract. Are they going to have the whole fleet there? I mean, let's be more specific. That's all I have.
Okay. John Kazoo, do you have how large of a piece of property?
That was going to, Mayor, if I could, that was going to be something between myself and Lim Walker to go out there and look at the area that they thought that they needed, because I don't want to give them too much of our yard.
Thank you.
Okay, so before I sign the agreement, then I will need to know what the dimensions are going to be.
then I'll have to meet with Lim Walker prior to that. So maybe the mayor and council do want to table this. That way the city attorney has an opportunity to review it. And I can also get back to include in this contract an area.
Okay. So that would be, so to table it, Carrie,
Somebody needs to make a motion to table it.
all right, then I'll move to table this until the December 6th meeting.
That would be a referral.
Refer it then. Refer it to the December 6th meeting.
Sorry, I didn't ask for recognition.
Okay, so is there discussion on the referral? And clerk call the roll?
Mayor Carnes?
Yes.
Councilpersons Higgins?
Yes.
Dupre?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Salcido?
Yes.
And Toby.
Yes.
So this next item, action item to approve the contract addendum for limb walkers, is that something that would be carried over also, or should be carried over? Okay, hang on a second. Oh, never mind. Next item, we have the City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers Tree and Snow entered in background. This is a cover letter from James Crescent, from John Kazoo, our DPS director. City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers Tree and Snow entered in a contract for tree services on or about June 30, 2021 for 2 years. City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers Tree and Snow wishes to amend the tree services contract to include emergency tree trimming and removal services. City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers agrees to add emergency tree trimming and removal service at a rate of $450 per hour with funds to be taken from accounts. I think that is going to be in the resolution. So we can move on to, whereas the City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers Tree and Snow entered into a contract for tree services on or about June 30, 2021. Whereas the City of Lincoln Park and Limb Walkers Tree and Snow wishes to amend the tree services contract on the terms and conditions set forth in this addendum. Now therefore, the City of Lincoln Park and Tree Walkers Tree and Snow agrees to add emergency tree trimming and removal services at a rate of $450 per hour. Be resolved that the mayor and city council approve the contract addendum for tree services to include emergency tree services fees.
So moved.
I'll support. And I have a question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
If we could just have a quick explanation of what is going to determine emergency.
John, would you,
Trying to get this unmuted. If I could, I've got a little prelude going into this. The contract that we put out did not include an emergency removal. But what it did have in the contract was a contractor and any of those that bid on it had to come in within an hour and a half. And that was 24/7. And Lim Walker didn't think that was good enough. And I believe they worked out this with the city manager. I don't have a disagreement with that. I thought it was already addressed, but here nor there. In my opinion, what an emergency would be, because a wind event, or let's say a Mother Nature event, we try to do these removals ourselves. But if it's something bigger or tougher for us, like maybe if it's lying on a home, and we don't have the expertise to try to take something like this off of a home because of the size or the location, because we would try to do it first. Then the next item would be maybe if we needed a bigger tree removed, where we maybe have a water main break on top of that tree, the safety of the manpower, we would also try to do that removal ourselves. But if it's too big for our crew, that's when I would bring in limb walker.
Okay, thank you. Because I thought we had the equipment to do tree removals and tree trimming. So I'm glad that we're going to utilize our DPS employees, or try to first, before we go to emergency services.
If it is within our capabilities, yes, we will.
Okay.
So the contract was negotiated by the city manager, James, is that correct?
This amendment was, we discussed it, Lynn Walkers and I.
Okay.
There had been an issue with invoices not getting paid because of this, because they were charging us for an emergency service as opposed to what was prior in the contract. And
With the figure that they have of $455 an hour, $450 an hour, is that standard for emergency? Is that what other communities pay?
That's what they've charged us in the past. It's, considering an emergency is often in the middle of the night, they're bringing in an entire crew on overtime. It's high, but it's not outlandishly high.
Okay. So this is their rate?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just being devil's advocate. Did we counter with a lower price, or this is the only one that they were going to do?
This is what they were going to do.
Okay. Do you consider this to be a fair rate?
I do, especially considering our goal is to not have these emergencies. Emergencies are always going to be more expensive.
And lastly, from me, who is going to make the call on whether they are going to be charged or paid the $450 an hour?
Well, that would come from DPS when they call them in.
What I'm getting at is that there needs to be specific guidelines when it comes to under what circumstances are they going to be called in, and with the understanding of what exactly emergency means for that. And I would suggest that they need to get your authorization before emergency call-in would be done. But that's just me. Councilwoman Ross, was that you that had the question? I'm sorry, I forgot who was next.
Well, no, I started the whole discussion, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, I thought $450 per hour was a little high myself, and that's why I'm like, if we could utilize our DPS employees, I would much rather see us do that.
Well, you understand that when things happen, there's going to be major storms that come through. We could be looking at 20, 30 trees that are down. We could be looking at trees that have fallen onto homes, that are blocking roadways, because we have a lot of mature trees in the city of Lincoln Park. Anybody that looked at the tree list will know that. I mean, this is something that's necessary. I'm just want to make sure that we're paying a reasonable amount.
Through the chair.
Hold on one second. Councilwoman Ross, were you set?
Yeah. I think, Your Honor, well, to be totally honest, I think I've seen this twice in the payables already. So, I mean, one tree, they charged us over $5,000 to take out.
Okay. Councilwoman Tobin?
So right now, if we had a big storm tonight and a big tree came down and DPS couldn't handle it, how are we being billed right now for the contract that we've got with them?
I do believe they've billed us at this rate, which is why we're bringing it forward.
But what does the contract say? Is that stated in the contract?
There's nothing in the contract. Emergencies aren't covered in it.
Okay, I think that maybe we should do some work and find out what's comparable to other cities, or if that's what Lynn Walkers is charging other cities, from what other companies are charging other cities. Because if you got a tree down, and like Tom said, the mayor said, if you get 30 of them, whatever, and you got to take all this at $4.50 an hour, that's going to be really, really expensive to us. So we got to make the best decision so it's not going to be taking so much out of our budget, because it's not planned for.
So
Yeah.
it was mentioned before that there was an hour and a half notice rate for them to be called in. At what rate?
Yes, sir.
At what rate are they paid at that hour and a half call-in?
The present rate that is in the contract. And a tree of that size, going from memory, I think would be around $1,200. And that's the same contract that we've had or I should say this city has had in the past. When we put the contract out for bid, we did not change the present contract that the city had been using. We used the same contract that the city had been using, and it also they had to be available 24/7 and be on site in an hour and a half. Typically, if contractors have questions or issues on an item in the contract, they have the opportunity to call or put that request in writing for an explanation or a definitive answer. We never received any of those from any of the contractors that bid on this. So again, to reiterate, it was whomever was a low red contractor had an hour and a half to be on site when called.
And then they would bill us according to the work that is set up in the contract.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And in talking to Lim Walker, they said that they would honor that contract if they had to, but they probably would not bid on the City of Lincoln Park work again.
Through the chair, Your Honor, please.
Okay, but before we do, Councilman Tobin, were you set?
Yes, I'm set.
Okay, Council President, go ahead.
You know, I think I feel or have the same sentiments as these other council colleagues of mine, is that the day after they signed the contract and the tree fell down, are they going to say, well, I'm sorry, I can't do that because it's emergency? I'm sure they would cut it down. So to come back after the fact and say, now this is an emergency and they're going to charge $450 an hour, well, the contract doesn't state emergency currently. So I had a call at Gregory Park. A branch had fallen down by the play equipment. I called our DPS director. He deemed there was an emergency and they took care of it. I'm sure our city took care of it, but nonetheless, it was an emergency. My point is, if it wasn't in the contract, they knew very well they're an hour and a half away in St. Clair Shores. I don't see this going anywhere tonight. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, further discussion?
Yeah, through the chair, if I may.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I have to agree. First of all, I don't like the $450. I'll say that right up front. The other thing is that are they going to charge from the time they leave the facility to get here, or are they going to, when they have the equipment in the yard, are they going to just charge from the time that they get to the yard and go out into the city? A lot of places charge from the time they leave their facility or house to get to where they're at. So, and I have to agree with the President Pro Tem, is we've been doing this too much lately. These contracts are supposed to be vetted before they go out. And then we come back here and we have amendments to them, and gosh is one of them, and I can go on and on. And this has got to stop. I mean, these contracts should be looked at before we sign them with the vendor and explained. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to believe, Your Honor, that they've never had an emergency. I mean, they don't do this in other cities. And the 450 just seems like a large amount. And I'd like to put this on hold or actually till we get some more explanation about what's the going rate. And the fact of it is do they charge from when? From what point to what point? Thank you.
Okay, further discussion?
Through the chair.
Yes, go ahead.
I have some of the same issues as my colleague, Councilman Kelsey have. This contract was vetted, I'm sure, by our attorney and their attorney. And now they've come back and they want to change what the contract says. how do we know that we would not have got a different rate from somebody else who bid on the contract if they had to deal with an emergency? I think that this is a ploy so that they can bid low and then ask for more later.
Well, we have a contract with them that requires them to be on site within an hour and a half of the time that we call them. That to me is an emergency call-in. They have the provisions to charge us by what they legally can by the contract. Everything is set by that rate. So I'm personally not in favor of the amendment here, of the change. So further discussion.
Through the chair, I'd just like to say that I think Lim Walkers is doing a fabulous job in the city. I mean, they're working hard, their presence is known. I haven't had any complaints against them. I think they're doing a wonderful job. I just think that we need to really look into this more before we make any decision.
Okay, further discussion. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilpersons Kelsey,
Oh,
Ross? Yes. Dupre,
No.
Higgins,
No.
Salcido,
no.
Tobin,
No.
and Mayor Carnes.
No.
That resolution failed.
Okay. So the next item that we have is accounts and claims payable. Resolved that accounts and claims payable for those items greater than $25,000 be approved as follows. Signature Ford LM, new Ford Expedition for Police Department, $40,574. Downriver Utility Wastewater Authority, September 2021 sewage user fee, November 2021 excess flow charges, $268,150.44. DTE electric and gas bills for October, $130,950.51. GV Cement, third pay, 2021 CDBG RD improvements, $47,599.95. Great Lakes Water Authority, September 2021 billing for water, $215,534.34. KS State Bank, 2018 Freightliner Semi-Tractor, 18 Gap Vax annual lease payment, $109,248.24. Lim Walker's Tree Service, trim and removal, $40,675. Municipal Employees Retirement, October 2021 defined benefit, $246,098.20.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Persons Kelsey,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Salcido,
Yes.
and Mayor Carnes.
Yes. So we now move on to City Manager's report. I believe that's where we're at. So, Mr. Grzan, James?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Before I get into anything, just a quick update. You guys were asking about how many access cars Lim Walker has. Lim Walker has 8 access keys right now to the yard, and they are all generally assigned to the company. So just quickly before this meeting, we had the DPS evaluation report study session, and it lays out the evaluation report lays out a lot of things, a lot of targets for us to hit, really. And I'll say the leadership team has really embraced it, and is really sinking their teeth into a lot of the things we've been working to try and continue to move the department forward. And then we also had Mike Chambers from the National League of Cities Service Line Warranty Program, and we're going to have him come back. So I sent out a PowerPoint that he sent me. I sent that out to all of you. So you should have that in your inbox. So as you take a look through it, if you want to have me be a conduit to get any kind of questions answered, please feel free. Next meeting, we're going to have our audit presentation from Plant Moran. And I'm expecting some pretty good news through that. Initial reports we're looking very favorably for our last year. We've been very, very diligent, but we've also put off a lot of capital expenses, kind of in a preventative, not sure where things were going kind of move. So we'll be bringing some budget amendments forward fairly soon that will likely see some improvements, some capital improvements being moved on. Some interesting information from the community. I don't know if everybody's aware, but for the longest time we've had two little leagues, Little League North and American Little League. And the two little leagues are actually combining for next year, trying to pool their resources together, really grow the little leagues. The director, Dave Cruz, tells me that it's what they think is going to be their best option to try and compete with Taylor North. So we'll see how they can do. And then just a quick reminder, next week's Thanksgiving, so offices will be closed Thursday and Friday. With that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Anything for, go ahead.
James, and I don't know, maybe Mr. Zelenak should help answer this question, because if we're not getting the cleaning services that we're paying for, and I'm hoping get someone else in there to clean, like tomorrow, how do we, I guess my question is, how do we handle this?
Well, so what we're doing, we'll write up a letter now and send it to the contractor, effectively terminating the contract December 20th. And during that time, we're going to be actively going through the RFPs and hopefully have something back to you. I'm thinking hopefully the second meeting in December.
Yeah, but what about the meantime, James?
In the meantime, they're still supposed to clean. It's a 30-day notice. It's in the contract. They're supposed to help with the transition.
So then can we please verbalize that to them?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. I'd like to see improvement in there.
Okay.
And then I have another, if I could, I have another question.
Go ahead.
In regards to the limb walkers amendment, that $450 per hour, if we've paid that in the past, does that make it past practice?
I don't believe it does. I think we've made it clear that we don't accept that, and so they need to charge us the current contracted rate.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else for the city manager?
Yep, through the chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to finish up the part of the conversation I had about access. I'll start over again. I went down to DPS to meet with John, and the DPS dispatch person in the front was not there anymore to activate the gate. And I had to wait behind Scott from the building department because he was going to the same meeting I was to try to get in. Today, I went down there, and I was lucky that Penny was coming back from lunch and in the yard, running across to activate the speaker so that I could get in. And I'm, basically I'm the liaison for the DPS. And if everybody else has got an access card, why can't I get one just Monday through Friday from 7 to 3:30? Because the situation that James put in the document to solve the problem is nowhere close to being even implemented, which means nobody's going to be manning that gate. So that's my request, I guess, to the city manager. I mean, I think I have as much integrity as the contractors that come in and out of there. And we just talked about limb walkers having, what, 8? And I still haven't seen the list of who has, how many Gosh has. So that's my request, I guess. And I don't see it's unreasonable based upon the lack of people right now at the DPS until we change that process of how you get in and out of that building. And that's where I'm at. Thank you, Your Honor. So, James, I guess if you would give me an answer or write me an answer or whatever you want to do.
All right, I won't, I don't have anything offhand right now, but I will certainly follow up with you.
All right, and and I apologize, Your Honor, but the last thing was also about the contractor getting the information for the retention basin manpower posting that has to be there. Evidently, she missed that or whatever. I wasn't given it. And I think that's important to look at the report when we talk about the manpower. And I'd like to see that come back in a reasonable period of time before we talk about the next session, Your Honor, about the DPS a little bit further. Thank you.
Okay, James's suggestion, you could probably have an access or a gate key available at your office or the city manager's office that council members, if needed for a specific time, could sign out. But I'll leave that. I'll leave that up to you to make that determination.
Excuse me, to the chair, if I may, Your Honor.
Well, what?
That small comment. I don't want to be treated any different than a contractor. I'm an elected official, and I am the liaison right now unless we change that. And all I'm saying is I want the same courtesy and the same opportunity as the contractors. And I don't think that's unreasonable to ask that. So I'm going to state that for the record. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, and Mr. City Manager, what you're going to do for one, you need to do for all. So consider that when you make that determination. Anything for...
Police Department.
Please, sir, you need to be recognized. You cannot just talk when you want to. Next for the city manager. Next for the city manager, please. Hearing none. Yep. Go ahead.
James, when limb walkers comes to the city, how many crews do they bring with them?
They have been bringing 2 crews for the last couple of weeks. They've been really trying to work hard to catch up to catch up on that list. So they've been bringing in 2 crews more days than not.
I was just curious as to why 8 gate keys though. If you have 2 crews, really only one person needs a gate key per crew.
I'll defer that to John, as his department's the one who gave out the gate keys.
If I could,
yes, sir, go ahead.
Excuse me?
I said, go ahead.
Limb Walker has a contractor that they have contracted to come in and remove their wood chips, such as stump grindings or what they put through their chipper. They have a lot of that product in our yard, and this contractor is coming in on weekends to load out that product. So 2 of those keys are for that particular contractor. And that's the same thing that we've done with previous tree contractors.
Through the chair.
Hold on 1 second. Ma'am, are you set?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Tobin, go ahead.
If this contractor that John's talking about, who knows who it is? Is it just limb walkers? I mean, do we do any kind of checks or anything to see who actually has access to our yard? I mean, this just keeps going on and on and on. I find it kind of wrong in so many ways that there's so much access and there's no inventory, there's no, we have no way of covering ourselves with all of this. We have got to get a plan where things are itemized and we know what's there and we know who's coming in, whether the company's contracted with us or they contract another company. This is all stuff that we need to be able to access. And I just think it's really, really not the right way to do these things. I really want this looked into because this is the first I've heard about a contractor for limb walkers coming in. I don't know if anybody else has heard it, but I just can't believe that there's another company that's coming in that has no contract or anything with us. So please someone explain this to me.
James?
I honestly, I have no explanation for it. I have to defer to John again, as DPS is the one who gives out the gate access, and they keep the records.
Maybe what we should do, and I'll discuss with James, is let's eliminate these keys and start all over again.
No, I think that you meet with the city manager and resolve this. I think any key that goes out should be issued to an individual and not a corporation. If it is going to be a contractor that is using this, then we need to know the names of the people that are be accessing our yard, a list of all the employees that the contractor has, and have the potential for being in there. I mean, that is not unreasonable. That's something that we by right should know. So any employee on, whether it be for tree walkers or for their subcontractor, needs to be known to us. So James and John, if you can make that happen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next for the city manager.
Through the chair,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I brought this up in a private conversation with our city manager, and I'll make it known now as well. The city gate opened up the conversation, but every one of our city buildings, there should be a list of who has the keys, and we should be able to know immediately, and in any situation, who has the keys, who can get into the buildings, who cannot get into the buildings. And the city hall should have a master list. There should be a list in each building, and then for each department head, and a master list at city hall. And I've asked several times, does this exist? And I want to know if it doesn't, why?
So a single master list does not exist. Each building has their own. Access to City Hall actually is handled through the police department, through the key fobs. So that list, we can pull the list if needed, but we don't have duplicate records right now on them. Doreen at her building keeps track of her keys, Dennis at his, and then we've got the gate access at DPS. So a single solitary list, it doesn't exist, but we have lists for each building.
I think we need to have a master list for security.
Well, the master list is simply compiling all the other lists and making it into one. Is that not correct?
Right.
Okay, then let's make a master list. And we should move towards electronic access to all of the buildings as we move forward. But further for the city manager. And hearing none, then we will move on to department heads report. We have CDBG Parks and Recreation Director Doreen Christian. Doreen?
Hello, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Let's say it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at the KMD building. Fantasyland is being set up. They still need volunteers, so anybody who's willing to volunteer, I'm sure they can get a hold of Sharon King at the Chamber of Commerce, and she would gladly accept their help. Breakfast with Santa will be this year. The tickets are in sale right now on December 4th at 10 o'clock. Tickets are $10 a piece, no matter the age. And then we're going from there to, we have cameras at KMB now. They're not 100% for viewing yet. They are up. They are recording. We do have to tweak a little bit to make sure that they're hitting the areas that need to be hit and that the picture is clear. And once that is completed, which they said within the next couple of days should be. They'll be moving over to the community center to start over there. Our playground equipment for both the Memorial Building and the Council Point Park was ordered. It was back ordered because it's probably sitting somewhere on a boat, I'll say. They're expecting it in January. They said as long as our degrees stay up to 50 that they can install it, but I'm assuming, and they are assuming too, that it'll be done in the spring under the same price and guidelines that we have under the contract. There'll be no issues with that whatsoever. We don't have any release of funds for the 21st budget year for CDBG yet. Well, the mayor did sign our end of it, and now we're just waiting for HUD to do their end of it. Everything else has been done. 2215 Seacott, city-owned property. We had the vegetation removed. We had 5 tons of garbage taken out of that house. It is completely cleaned out now. They will, I've never seen a house in that condition, never. We will be having the lead and asbestos check done shortly, and then John Myers and I and Lisa are going to get together and be putting together the scope of work to go ahead and go out to bid. We are definitely going to do the plumbing separate from the whole job because it's the old galvanized piping, and when you reach up and touch it, yeah, it's falling apart. So we really don't even want to get the water turned on until the basement plumbing is done. But our number one priority is to get that house up to code and get it sold to a low-mod income family that when we do this, I will let you know, I get heartfelt thanks from all of them because they are so appreciative to having these homes and to know that they're ready to be moved into. So we'll make sure everything is up to code, and some of the pretty stuff, maybe we'll have to let it stay the way it is, but everything will be 100% up to code before they go ahead and move in. And at this point in time, we're just moving forward with all our contracts that are already out there. And I will be sending the demo contract to the city attorney in the morning before I send it out for him to sign, the FinCon to sign, and that's all I've got, unless anybody has any questions.
Doreen, when it comes to the cameras that are now, or that will be soon in place at the band shell, is there any special notification that we need to put on the outside of the entrances to the building to let people know that filming is in process, or is that not required?
I'm not quite sure. I haven't asked that contractor that, but I think we should get the ones that Dennis has up at his building, that the building is under surveillance. I don't think that would be, I think that would be really a question with Ed, if it's something that would be beneficial to the city that we do have that out there.
Well, excuse me 1 second, Doreen, I have the city attorney here. We have installed cameras into the band shell. Is it a necessity for us to put some type of notice on the outside of the building that this is indeed what is going on, that there are filming that is taking place?
It would be my recommendation, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. He believes that that is something necessary, so...
There's no statutory requirement, no case law requirement, but puts them on notice, and then the city makes it clear that they're not being taped without their permission.
Okay, very good. Excuse me, go ahead, ma'am.
I'll make sure I get them ordered then.
Okay. Questions for Doreen? Doreen, there's a lot of earth being moved over on the opposite side of the band shell. Remind me what is going in there where the tennis courts used to be.
Playground equipment.
Oh, okay. And we're on.
Only the already there, and we're adding to it and kind of expanding the area and making it bigger. I found color photographs of what's actually going in, and I'll always send them out to you guys which one's going where.
Okay,
But it is the equipment for ages 5 to 12.
Thank you. Very good. Further for Doreen?
Through the chair?
Yes, go ahead.
I thought that they were going to try to put something else in there besides playground equipment. like a pickleball court or something else. Who made the decision to change that?
That was out, we had, you guys approved that when we went out with the Wayne County grant to put it, playground equipment at Kennedy Memorial Park.
I think, well, myself personally, I was under the impression that it would be going where the playground equipment is already there and that we were going to try to utilize that space for something new for the community.
I'm sorry, that's not the impression I was under. I thought I let everybody know that I was going to go right where the tennis courts were taken out of, so that we immediately utilize it. That way the sand's already there, the dirt's there, and we can put down the net, the landscape netting and the mulch and everything and be ready to roll with it.
So if there are questions or not questions, desires to put a different type of equipment in any of our parks, what would that process be, Doreen?
If we first we have the funding, and then we have to we usually pick a park on where we want to upgrade, and then we bring in front of you guys to say this is what we're looking to do, and this is where the funding can come from.
I mean, we've heard people talk about skate parks. We've heard them say frisbee golf course and different things. So if somebody had an idea, would they get a petition and then bring it to the council that way, or how would they go about that?
Oh, really, I think you can bring it in front of the Parks and Rec Commission. We have to make sure that whatever we're deciding to put in whatever location has the right utilage for it, that there's enough spacing and things like that, and that we do have the funding. I know they were talking about doing like a skate park up at Council Point Park.
Yeah.
It's in the 5-year plan. Right now it's the funding issues that we have to go through on where we're going to go from there, and it's like that's what the Parks and Recreation Commission can kind of decide where we're going to go with the next budget, depending on what park is picked. Maybe you can utilize some of the funds from CDBG to upgrade, but we have to find out where we want to go and what the cost factor would be.
So the first step for citizens interested in that would be the Parks and Rec Commission. And when does the Parks and Rec Commission meet?
The third Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock.
Okay, thank you. Further for Doreen? All right, Doreen, I'm not hearing anything, so thank you. Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
And we have then citizen communications. James, if you could allow people the opportunity to unmute themselves. We'll open it up for the citizen communication. The only requirement is you have to provide your name first, and then we can go from there.
Mayor, if I may?
Yes.
Jim Rona?
Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Excuse my relaxed situation tonight. It was a long day. And anyways, I just wanted to thank you, all of you, for furthering along the demolition of the home. And a special thanks to Doreen, because I understand she's been going through a lot of trouble trying to get things done with DT and all that, so I appreciate the neighborhood appreciates the efforts. And it's going to make a nice Thanksgiving for the neighborhood. Everybody's been very excited to see this moving along. I just wanted to thank everybody on council and in the city for what you guys do throughout the year and keeping things running and keeping us safe. And of course, we have our city attorney, our city clerk that keeps us in line too. So, but I just wanted to thank everybody because we wouldn't be here without you. And just want to wish you a very happy and safe Thanksgiving. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and the same to you. Next, who would like to be heard?
Hi, Leslie Lynch Wilson.
Go ahead, Leslie.
Hi, Mayor Cairns. I just want to give everybody an update on the farmers market. The season is ended in October, but we have our holiday market coming up this Sunday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's going to be just next door to Park Restaurant in the hall. We'll have some vendors, and we'll have some vendors just outside there too. So we'll have a variety of items for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So please be sure to pay us a visit. Santa Claus arrives at 1 o'clock. And then we have Looney's Balloons will come at 1 o'clock to entertain us. He makes balloon figures. So we hope to see you there. Oh, and the most important thing is please bring a canned food item for Blessed Hope's Food Pantry.
Very good.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this year's market. It's been a tough way to go, and you survive and building on for next year too. So nice work.
Thank you.
So anyone else wish to be heard? Okay, then hearing none, then we will move on to oral reports of the Mayor and Council. Council President Salcido.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make it brief. In regards to Limb Walkers, our tree cutting company, I've been impressed with their work. I've had residents tell me that they like their workmanship and work ethic. So, nothing personal against them, except in my opinion, that emergency tree removal should have been in the original contract. So, moving forward, I took my snow blower to A1 Mower right here on 755 Southfield Road. They tuned up my snow blower. I am ready to go. Let it snow. Also, I put an order for a refrigerator and stove at Houston Appliance right here on 4th Street. Residents, shop Lincoln Park if you can. All right? Of course, the stove will be in just in time for Christmas. Lastly, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to further go on a little bit more of what the council president just said. We have a lot of good stores in Lincoln Park that sell a lot of good things. Christmas season is upon us. Small businesses need your business. And if you want to have good businesses in Lincoln Park, you have to shop at good businesses in Lincoln Park. And I suggest we get out, do our Christmas shopping. It's that time of year, and shop Lincoln Park. I'd like to remind everybody of the DDA is tree lighting ceremonies coming up. I'm sorry I don't have the date written down here, but please come out. It's on the website. It's on our TV page. Come out and see it. We're going to have singers. We're going to have the museum will be open. We're going to have cocoa. It's going to be a good evening. Come out and see Santa there. And then Santa will also be at the library on December 5th. And also Looney Balloony will be there. The young man will take that challenge, and he will do a balloon out of any animal that is asked of him. And if he can't, he will try. I will guarantee that. Come out, and there will be a charity event for the library December 5th from the craft show from the 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then I guess that's all for this evening, and that's all. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman Tobin.
First, I want to express condolences to Colleen Stepkamp and her family. If everybody could keep them in their prayers. And it is I think it's 1 to 7 on Thursday at Molnar Funeral Home. The tree lighting, November 20th. It's going to be fun. Be there. Santa will be there. You can't miss this one. It's going to be great. On November 19th, the Leo, the hotel is finally opening. There's a grand opening on the 19th. Okay. And December 4th, breakfast with Santa. And I just want to wish everyone a very, very happy, healthy Thanksgiving. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Ross?
Thank you, Your Honor. If I could start with a couple of reminders that I know have already been hit on, but it's worth repeating. The city offices will be closed November 25th and 26th for Thanksgiving. And with that, GFL also observes the Thanksgiving holiday, so if your garbage is on that Thursday, your garbage will be picked up on Friday. The Wayne County Health Department vaccine clinic is still going at the Lincoln Park Community Center on Mondays from 9 to 3 and on Wednesdays from 2 to 8. They are offering all 3 vaccines as well as boosters. And again, mark your calendar for November the 20th at 6 p.m. for the tree lighting. Mark your calendar for November the 27th for Fantasyland's opening. But I know that they have special instructions this year. You have to make reservations. So I don't think that link is up yet, but watch for that. As well as I know that face masks will be required. And I was at the Public Safety Commission meeting today, and the police chief happened to mention that they are collecting kids' pajamas. They are working with Mimi's Mission to pass out pajamas for the kids at shelters that are in shelters for Christmas. That is through November the 29th. And I'm sure that they have that posted on their Facebook page. So I hope I got that right. And I too want to wish everyone a very safe and happy Thanksgiving. That's all, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Dupre?
Good evening. First of all, yard waste will be picked up through the first week of December, so even though it's cold, you can still cut those branches. Saturday, November 20th. 6:30 is the tree lighting ceremony. It sounds like everybody's excited about it. I'm excited about it. Last year, I really missed it, so this is going to be good. Fantasyland, yes, opens November 27th. I've never been there, so I'm looking forward to that. And as Councilwoman Ross said, there are reservations, and they will be getting that information out to us. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, and good night, and God bless.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Kelsey?
Thank you, Your Honor. I wish to start off wishing everybody a nice Thanksgiving, like everybody has. Hope the residents, the council, and everybody, and the veterans have a good Thanksgiving this year. Things hopefully will be a little better than they were last year for Thanksgiving. The local Masonic Temple every year donates children's coats and hats and stuff to the school district to pass out to kids who are having a little bit of a problem getting stuff like that for this year. And again, they're going to do it this year. So it's nice to hear about all these, if you want to call it, items that people are getting together with people to make their Christmas a very happy time. So with that, I will say good night and hope that everybody is fine. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The Fantasyland has been mentioned. It had to change a little bit this year due to the COVID restrictions and such. So even if you have been there before, it's going to be a different experience. It's going to be as safe as it possibly can be, but I'm looking forward to seeing what ends up happening. So Saturday, November 27th, though, is Small Business Saturday. So make an effort to purchase something at one of our businesses in Lincoln Park that day. You need to get off the couch, get off of, shut Amazon down for just a little bit, and go out to one of our stores or one of our restaurants in the area. It's not going to happen without your support, so we would hope that you would do that. Okay, I think that we will leave it. I put the Thanksgiving comments out earlier. Good fellows are going to be out and about before our next meeting, so please remember their goal of no child without a Christmas and look to support them. And to all and yours that are out there, have a safe and blessed Thanksgiving. And I'll move to adjourn. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. There you go.
Right.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilperson Salcido,
Yes.
Tobin,
Yes.
Dupre,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Kelsey,
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
and Mayor Cox.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yes.